But don't look in your rearview mirror, here comes number 8. He's a rocker, little roller, and he sure knows how to shut 'em down. I guess he runs independent, intimidators back in town. Yeah, I guess he runs independent, intimidators back in town. That boy, stand up, son.
And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that the driver with the most miles completed in the Daytona 500 in his entire career is Terry Labonte with 14,892.5 miles and 5,957 laps. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, a.k.a. Mike Bob Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host, Christian, a.k.a. Savage NASCAR.
What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great week. You know, Daytona 500 is coming soon. We got the Clash that happened this weekend. So we got a good bit of things to talk about tonight.
Yes. First off, with the Clash, my boy Joey Logano won the race. Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, Christian. Anyways, my boy Joey Logano won the race. I wasn't expecting it. I remember in last week's episode, I picked him because he was really good at short tracks, and I felt like that track suited him. And I was correct. So I am a clean 1-0 on the season so far. But anyways, we are going to talk about the weekend in Los Angeles. I almost said Las Vegas, but no, Los Angeles, before Christian wants to rip my head off. So starting things off with the heat races. I thought the heat races were very, very good. A lot of aggressive racing. My only complaint with them is that the cars still pulled away quite a bit. So, like, for example, in the first heat, it was Kyle Busch and I believe Harrison Burton. Somebody was pulling away with Kyle Busch, and it was very, very easy for those cars. But back in the pack, they were racing really, really hard. So that was nice to see. In all the heats too, they were racing really hard. I think the most controversial race was the second LCQ, which means last chance to qualify race. That just had so many wrecks. Ty Dillon, I don't know what he was doing, but he just kept slamming into people all day, and everywhere it just seemed like he was involved in a big wreck. Mike Joy said it best. He said, Ty Dillon has hit everything but the lottery today.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Ty Dillon, he did win his last chance qualifier, but at the last minute they disqualified him because he jumped the restart right at the end. So not good for Ty, and not a good look for my cousin, who's his crew chief. So that's very disappointing to see that. I was really rooting for Ty, but at the same time, it's like, why? Why are you doing this?
He almost won, so props to him. I mean, I agree with your points, like, except for pulling away part. I thought that, yes, you know, the track is really small, and I don't see any problem with cars going a lap down because it's such a small track, and short tracks that happens with NASCAR.
No. I get that part.
Pulling away.
I get that part where, like, you know, the cars are, you know, they're obviously going to get lapped down. I mean, we saw Bubba Wallace and Ricky Stenhouse go multiple laps down. So that's to be expected. But I was talking about in the heat races, it was very easy for those cars to pull away and make big leads.
The faster cars.
Right, I get that. But I was just saying, like, it wasn't what I was expecting it to be, especially in the first race.
Yeah, like, I get your thoughts on that. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people didn't expect that either. But Ty Dillon, man, he almost won that. I was kind of hoping he would win that just to see how everyone reacts. But Ty Dillon seemed to be a little upset about it. But, you know, he was also like, oh, we have great things ahead this year. We're going to have such a great season. Don't count us out. But, you know, you have to like that sort of attitude. But, you know, then again, he's going to get memed, and he got memed a lot after that race. You know. That's the NASCAR community for you. If you do something crazy like that, you're going to get memed. So
right. And talking about the main event was kind of disappointing. I didn't mind it. I'm not going to be biased here, and I'm going to give my honest opinion on it. But overall, there was good racing. Like, you really had to bump people out of the way. They were talking about it in the booth. You really have to like hit hard compared to other short tracks. And that's completely fine. I want to see that beating and banging racing. But in the beginning of the race, it was nothing like the heat races. Like, Christian, I know you were telling me you didn't really get a chance to watch the heat races too much. But the heat races were spectacular, in my opinion. The main event was just I mean, there was points of good racing. There were some wrecks, which were interesting to see. A lot of contenders got taken out as well. Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Briscoe all had mechanical failures. Denny Hamlin did not look strong today. Reddick looked very, very strong winning his heat. And he actually was a contender to even be considered to win the whole thing. And then that mechanical failure happened. So very unfortunate for Reddick. But overall, with the weekend, I would say it was a success. I think that it was unique that they were able to race on the track. And I remember saying, like, I didn't think it was that great of an idea multiple times. And they actually handled it a lot better than I expected. The first caution of the day came out, I believe, in the third heat for Austin Cindric, spinning out.
Dive bomb city down here. Oh, Kurt Busch, that's a no-no. And caution waves. Kurt Busch in the 45 got into the back of the 77. That's how it ends up. Watch the 45 punt the 77 into the 2. Who's met?
And yeah, it was actually impressive how they were handling the track with how small it is and not wrecking as much as I thought they would. So yeah, I think it was definitely a solid weekend. I would love to see them come back to the LA Coliseum.
You know, first off, we have to sort of start. I think with me, I want to talk a little bit about the pre-race. I will say that, you know, me and some people agree that we think it's kind of like a cash grab. We thought it was just going to be about the money and all that. But, you know, they did a lot of promotions for this event. Like, they promoted it to be like, it was going to be such a huge event. It's going to be so great and everything. I mean, they did put on a great, like, pre-race show, except for Pitbull's performance. I'm not going to lie. Like, Pitbull, I like some of his music. But when you're having it on national TV, why are you showing twerking? And there's probably, like, 10-year-olds watching that. There's like twerking and half naked women on the TV screen.
Right.
Like, you know, I was kind of like, come on, guys. But, you know, I thought the driver introductions were really good. I thought what they did with the honorary starters, you know, with California legends, of course, there's Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager. There's like Eric Dickerson and Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and, you know, a couple others as well. I thought that's pretty cool. Then they had the USC marching band, which I thought was very nice. And the stands looked like they were pretty full. They weren't packed like sellout, but it looked like they did. They had most of the stands filled, and the racing was definitely a little different than I expected. I thought there was going to be more wrecks, but you know, there was some spins. And I thought it was kind of weird how some of the cars, it seemed like they kept having more mechanical issues from hits, like what we saw with what's his name? Ryan Blaney. Yeah, Ryan Blaney. It looked like his car, like he got hit a little bit, but I was surprised that the back end kind of broke like that.
And Ryan Blaney in the 12 here. He got into the wall, the outside wall pretty hard there after the contact, obviously. He set some room in that right.
We saw Justin Haley's car, just when he got wrecked, he got hit by William Byron, and then he hit Larson. Larson just seemed like to drive down the track to wreck him on purpose.
Side for the lead. And into the wall goes Haley. Caution is out.
This is exactly what we talked about earlier. It wasn't necessarily started with him. It started with the car behind him. He got in line. William Byron got in the back of him. Nothing
Shoved him
with,
up into the 5. The 5 thought he was retaliating.
Exactly.
Put him into the wall.
And Haley, he was doing well. The college racing cars of AJ Allmendinger and Justin Haley were doing great in that race. They were hanging up there with them. They were up in the front. But Haley got taken out and his car was destroyed. Chase Elliott spun around at 1.2.
Goes Chase Elliott. And that's caution flag number 2 after 65 laps.
No, he got loose. Something happened to that car.
But I knew Logano was going to do quite well. I thought he would be somewhere in the top 5, and I picked Kyle Busch to win. You know, he started on the pole. He did well. It's just Logano ended up pulling away at the end. But you know, it is what it is. I thought it was a decent van. Could have been better. But you know, at the end of the day, just gonna be mixed reactions about it. I thought the track was too small, but I thought that it was quite interesting to see another short track that way, a short track. And I thought that they promoted the event quite well, but I feel like they kind of overhyped it.
I gotta agree. I don't think the heats were overhyped. I thought that was very good racing, but the main event, no doubt, was overhyped. I would personally give it maybe 6.5, 7 out of 10, being unbiased towards, you know, obviously Logano winning, and he's my favorite driver, as you can tell from my attire. The Pitbull show I didn't really like. I liked Ice Cube's performance, but I didn't really like Pitbull.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like Pitbull, like some of his songs weren't, you know, any of my favorites, but like Ice Cube, his show is like pretty decent. It's just like slow, mostly. Wasn't like I'm glad he didn't use like language or anything like that, of course, because he's not on national TV. But like Ice Cube's performance, it was crazy because there was like a bunch of like they would show camera shots of people dancing, and then some people just standing there going,
Yeah,
like that. So,
well,
yeah, there's some memes about that too.
yeah, that's to be expected because NASCAR is a heavily Southern base. They are trying to expand to more of a demographic than just the South, but you're still going to get that Southern base because that's what people in that region have grown up on, NASCAR. And I get why they're trying to go to more of the younger base, and I support them for it, but I just feel like they got to do it more neutral instead of only going for the younger base or only going for the South.
And Byron. I'm just kidding.
Yes. But
what's next? We have the fans' thoughts, or do we have any fan thoughts?
Yeah, we did get some fan thoughts. I might update this later. So, because it's not like completely finished. It's only at 3 hours right now, so I might get back later with more. But as of right now, 3 of you said good, and 1 of you said / okay. None of you said great, and none of you said bad. Henry24257 says decent race, but a lot of problems that need to be fixed. 6 out of 10. I agree with that. I mean,
I was gonna say too that. Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say that RFK cars were slow compared to the other cars.
They were slow, and I'll get to more of that when you get to your point. But I agree with that. Obviously, it was the first race at the track. It was similar to Bristol Dirt. This race is showing a lot of potential, and I would like to see them come back to LA Coliseum and do another one. And it was a lot better than I expected. The track was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I thought there wasn't going to be that little section where in normal tracks it would be grass, but instead it was just like asphalt or concrete. And overall, it was a great surface. I hope that they do fix some things. So Henry, I definitely agree with your point. And Josiah_Calhoun says, race was really boring. Leader pulled away every time, and the inside line was the only good. It was. I wouldn't say really boring because there's been worse, but it was kind of boring. So, Christian, what point were you going to make?
That was I don't even know what point I was trying to make other than I was talking about the RFK cars.
Yeah, Keselowski and Truex. I know Truex is not a part of RFK, obviously, but Keselowski, he was really disappointing. He looked really, really slow on the track. He kept his nose clean for the most part, but overall disappointing considering Keselowski's success over the last season. And Truex was another big shock. He only got in because of a points provisional, which I don't understand. I thought that was very stupid to give him a points provisional, but whatever. I mean, I thought he sucked all day.
I mean, he kind of was doing pretty bad out there.
And I'm not even
glad
trying to
he
be
put
biased
him-
here. I'm just speaking the complete truth. He was bad. He wasn't great at all.
His car was dog water.
It was. And so was Hamlin's. I mean, Bell
Yeah,
did good,
his last
Busch
piece.
did good, and then the other two did not.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say too. I was gonna shout out Austin Dillon. He was doing good in that race. He worked his way up to the front. I think he finished like third or fourth. And
Yeah.
Tyler Reddick had a good car too. And his car just suddenly died. It
Yeah.
was just like what? And he was leading. I'm like, man, come on.
I know, I couldn't believe that.
Let's see our car win once in a while,
Right. And I want to give a shout out to Cody Ware. He did a great job in that race. He finished fourth in his LCQ. But the thing why I'm saying that is because you don't expect Rick Ware to run in the top 5. You would expect them to be in the back in their LCQ. But no, he worked his way up in the field. And maybe this is what some drivers like Joey Logano were talking about, where the next gen car is more about skill than it is having the best car. Because you could see that a little bit where some drivers who have been great in the past but got screwed over with the aero package were back up to the front, like Logano, Busch, Jones, all these other guys. So it is getting more in the middle with skill and plus actual like how they set the car up. And I like that. And I think this car has a bright future for it. I know there's some people who don't like the car, and that's fine. But I personally like the car a lot.
Now, when you talking about skill and all that, it reminds me of like how people, I don't know, it's just like some people got frustrated or some, like mostly like the newer generation kind of looks back on races from like the 70s and 80s, like, oh, those drivers are always winning by over a lap and stuff like that when it was about skill back then too. But now when it comes to skill, the fans want it. It just kind of confuses me when I hear that.
Right. That's a good point there, Christian. So the driver of the day is a tie between 3 guys: Justin Haley, Ty Dillon, and Joey Logano. Justin Haley, he was another guy who really impressed. His first Cup Series start for full time, and he did really good. He was another contender, and then he got taken out by Larson. My driver of the day is between either Justin Haley, Tyler Reddick, and Kyle Busch, and Joey Logano. Between those 4 guys, I don't know who exactly I want to give it to. Actually, I'm going to give it to Kyle Busch. He was more up in the front for the most part.
I was going to say it's either between, for me, Justin Haley, Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, or Logano, and I'm going to go with Austin Dillon.
All right. So we got more of a shorter episode today. So we're going to talk about you guys' opinions for the season and your predictions. Plus, you've given us drivers for our predictions. So let's start off with you guys' hot takes, if you will. Now, I know we did a video similar to this, but that was NASCAR all-time hot takes. This is current NASCAR hot takes.
Okay.
So we're gonna kick it off with Noah. I'm not sure how you pronounce this name. Noah Pedidun. I don't know. We'll just call you Noah. He says KFB wins 4 to 7 races and at least makes the round of 8. I agree with this prediction.
I don't know about 4 to 7, but I do think he'll probably make the round of 8.
I'm gonna say he wins about 2 to 3 maybe, but I think the round of 8 is definitely possible for him.
I'd say he wins 3 races.
Chase _H05 says Harvick no wins. I mean, Harvick, he looked okay today. He wasn't the best, but he certainly wasn't the worst. But I know that's not going to compare to other tracks that they're going to be racing at. I think he's going to get at least 1 win this season. So I got to disagree with this take.
Harvick, I was hoping he'd get a win last year. It's just, I'm going to say Harvick wins at least 2, and one of them is going to be on a 1.5-mile track.
Right. I agree with you. Dent_wizard_Cup Series says, first or second time winner at Daytona, Joey Logano gets the second championship. So first or second time winner at Daytona, obviously that's incredibly possible because most people could win at Daytona since it's really unpredictable. So I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree with your take because I just don't know how the cars are going to handle at Daytona in a group setting since we didn't really get to see too much.
I think there's going to be at least one big wreck in the 500 for
Of
sure.
course.
Because, these cars are going to be unpredictable. And, it's the first big race with those cars. I think there's probably going to be some calamity. Hopefully,
Right.
no one gets injured.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And Joey Logano getting his second championship, it's possible. Joey Logano is in another even number season. And keep in mind, he's really, really good with even number seasons. He always makes the Final Four every other year. So it would not surprise me if he won the championship. But since it's the first race of the season, I can't necessarily make my pick. And I don't want to sound biased, so I'm not going to answer that point. But it might not be too far off of a prediction.
Yeah, I can't really give a prediction for the championship 4 already. The season hasn't even started yet. But, Logano, I don't know about him winning the championship this year. I think he'll have a better year than he did last year, but I don't see him winning the championship even before the season starts. But who knows? Maybe he might have a good year.
Davis Hayes 2006 says Bowman gets 5+ wins. No, I got to disagree with this one. I mean, listen, I don't hate Alex Bowman, but I just got to speak the truth. He did get 5 wins last year. And a lot of them were lucky. Most of them were. I think he'll get maybe 1 or 2 wins this year, but I don't think 5. No way.
I don't think Bowman's going to win 6 races, 5 races, but I do think he's going to win 4.
4 races, all right.
And, I have to have confidence in the 48.
Official Gator says David Reagan gets 1 win, 3 top 10s, and 4 top 20s. David Reagan is not in the Cup Series full time. Yes, that's a weird take.
Bloom was on something. That's all I could say. That's all I could say. And someone's phone's vibrating. Is that yours?
That was my phone because somebody decides, oh, I'm gonna hit the video call button on Instagram. So thank you for messing up the Nasboys podcast.
Great job, everybody. Can we just give a round of applause to whoever did that?
It's Clayton.
Outstanding,
Yes. Paint Scheme Central says Ross Chastain wins the Daytona 500. Possible.
That'd be lit, bro.
That would be, but I don't know. I don't see it happening, but it could be possible. He also says Logano goes winless, misses the playoffs, and leaves Penske after 2022. Well, he already won a race. I know it's not a points-paying race, but it still counts.
Exhibition.
So your point there is invalid. Missing the playoffs, I disagree.
Well, think about this, Mike. Last year, Kyle Busch won the Clash. He did. It took him a while to win. Or was that 2020? No, it was last year. It took him a while to get in victory lane, and he barely made the playoffs. Actually. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think Logano is going to leave Penske or not make the playoffs. I don't know. But everyone has their own opinions.
Yeah. I'm not discrediting his opinion and being toxic. I'm just stating facts. But anyways, to continue my point, Logano going winless, he already proved you wrong there, and he did win. I don't care if it's not a non-points paying race. Missing the playoffs, I mean, you can say whatever you want. I can see where people would say he could miss the playoffs, but due to the fact that it's 16 drivers and Logano is one of the most somewhat consistent drivers, and he's good on a lot of different tracks, I think he can still make the playoffs whether he wins later in the season or if he points his way in. And in leaving Penske, this is where I got to discredit you. I don't think he's going to leave Penske, especially the year after he's now the lead driver and their main focus. I see a lot of people all over the place saying, like, he could leave Penske, and I just disagree with it completely because why would he? Penske helped revive his career and made him into a championship threat, and leaving them would be unnecessary unless he wants to go to the 4 or something like that. But even then, I wouldn't go. Penske is a strong team.
Yeah.
Larson has a championship hangover. I agree. I was doing predictions, like just writing predictions down on my phone for fun, and I had Larson not win until the second half of the season, and then he was going to go win 5 in a row.
Wow.
So I definitely got to agree with that
5 in a row?
point.
Oh well, I think Larson will win, but I don't think it'll be in the first like 3 or 4 races. I could see him probably doing well at Auto Club, but I don't know like how many races he's gonna win. But I don't think he will have a hangover.
All right, so that concludes the predictions. Now let's get into the driver predictions. So first up, we got Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon, we talked about this earlier. He's in his first season with Petty GMS in the 42. My cousin is his crew chief, or my cousin's husband, which technically makes him my cousin, is the crew chief. You can say I'm a liar all you want, but I'm not a liar because I don't lie about that crap, especially when it revolves around Ty Dillon. But anyways, I don't think Ty Dillon's going to do too well this season. He already made his showing in the Clash, and it just seems like he might wreck a lot. I say he'll be around the mid-20s in the points. Maybe he'll be the top 10, but I don't think he'll be anything too special.
I think he'll be in the top 20, but I don't think he'll make the playoffs.
All right, next up, we got Eric Jones. Eric Jones did pretty well in the Clash besides wrecking Blaney today. Finished 4th. He was running in the top 10. I mean, I think he'll have a similar season to what he had at RPM. Couple top 10s here and there. So can't really make like complete stats for him, but I'm just gonna say he'll have a similar season to RPM last year.
Yep, I have to say the same.
KFB. Kyle Busch, obviously coming off 2020 2022, round of 8 exit. I think Kyle Busch, I think he's gonna get 2 to 3 wins, like I said earlier, around maybe a couple top 10s. Obviously I want to say he'll get around 20 top 10s and 25 top 5s. That might be a little much, actually.
25 top 5s and 20 top 10s. How is that possible, Mike?
Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I pulled that one out of my rear. So I will say 10 top 10s and 15 top 10s and 10 top 5s.
Okay.
I pulled that one out of my you know what.
But I already gave my prediction for Kyle Busch a little bit earlier. So how about we do per team, Mike? We just talked about the drivers per team.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know how long that's going to take because a lot of these guys have like specific drivers. But front row, Ty Gillen and Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell, I think he'll have a similar season besides his beginning of the season contention and winning the Daytona 500. And Ty Gillen, I think he's going to do bad.
Wow. I think they're both going to do all right. I don't think they're going to be great. That's all I can really say about that. There's probably going to be a good bit of wrecks, but I hope for the best for both of them because I sort of like those two guys. I mean, Todd Gillen I've talked to on occasion, and then Michael McDowell. Winning the 500 last year and him being a good guy. So,
yeah. We got Brandon Brown. I think Brandon Brown will have a good season. He'll rebound from that whole political crap that he was involved in.
Brandon.
And I think he'll do it. I think he'll have a solid season.
I don't think he's going to make top 30 in points.
Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez. So Trackhouse. Ross Chastain, I think he's going to get his first win this season. I don't know where, but I think that he will. And I think that there will be a couple of first-time winners, including Ross Chastain and Tyler Reddick. Those are the two first-time winners that I think will win this season. Ross, I think, is only going to win maybe once, maybe twice. Daniel Suarez, I think he'll have a similar season to what he had last year, but perhaps could be a little more consistent.
Yeah, my phone's about to die, so I'm going to turn off my camera.
Okay.
For the moment. But if y'all could still hear me, I think Ross Chastain is going to win a race. I think Suarez could probably win a race too. We'll see. But I would say another first-time winner, Harrison Burton. I think he's finally going to give Wood Brothers Racing another win. It's been a long time, and I'd just like to see Harrison Burton go to victory lane sometime.
Harrison did a good job today in the Clash, so it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think it's going to happen this season. Daniel Hemrick. I think Daniel Hemrick's going to have another good season. I think he'll get a couple of wins. He needs to rebound. Now that he's won his first race, he definitely needs to rebound. As for the rest of the colleague guys, AJ Allmendinger, Noah Gragson, all those guys, I think they're going to do really well. Haley really impressed, so he could contend. Gragson, maybe he could do something. Not too sure because he hasn't been in too many cup races from what I recall. And Hemrick, he raced a full season, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was up there.
Yeah. Yawn. I had to yawn for a moment. Allow it. But yeah, colleague racing. I think there could be a pretty strong team. I think they could be some competitive. I kind of mentioned this a little earlier. I do think that Justin Haley would have a chance to maybe win. I'm going to say he has a chance at Martinsville, but AJ might have a chance to win yet again. Won the Indy Bro course last year. So that's all I got to add with them.
I don't think Martinsville, but I do think a plate track.
I mean, that's a good point because, Justin's done well at Daytona and Talladega before.
All right, William Byron. William Byron, I think he will get 2 wins, 5 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. And then for the rest of the Hendrick guys, Bowman, I think we already talked about this. I think he might get a win or 2. Larson, I think he's going to have a championship hangover and then return to form in the second half of the season and get possibly 7 wins. And then Chase Elliott, I think he will get 3 wins.
Okay, so I think Byron is probably going to win 1 race. I can see Kyle Larson winning 4 at max, Chase Elliott winning at least 2, and Bowman, like I commented earlier, 4 wins.
Josh Policki, I believe he's racing. Sorry, go ahead.
That's gonna be a wreck fest, and for him, I think he's gonna wreck a good bit.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say too much about him. I think he'll get no legit stats. He might do consistent like what Landon Castle was doing, but I don't see any stats for him per se.
Yeah.
And as for the rest of the JGR cars, I think that they'll do very good. They'll have similar seasons all around. Maybe not Truex because Truex did not have a good showing, but who knows? Maybe they could turn it around. They had a slow start. Hamlin, I think he might have a slow start as well, but Busch and Bell will look really good. SHR, I think that they're going to have another season where Kevin Harvick's going to carry.
I didn't get to say my picks for JGR.
Oh, my fault.
I kind of talked about Kyle Busch already, but Truex, I think Truex might actually have a down year. I think he's going to win maybe once. I see Hamlin winning at least 3 times. I already talked about Kyle Busch. Then Bell, I think Bell's going to win twice. But I think all these guys have a chance of course, making the playoffs.
Right. And then for
Except for
SHR,
Trix. I actually think Trix is going to miss it this year. It's a bold prediction, though.
that is a very bold prediction. I disagree with it, but who knows?
If he doesn't win, he doesn't make the playoffs, but I think he could get a win. We don't know, though.
Right. SHR, I think they're going to have another season where they're carried by Harvick.
Oh. You know, SHR, they're one of my favorite teams. I think I want to see Briscoe win. I really do. I think Cole Custer has a chance of going back to victory lane again. Eric Almirola, his final season, like to see him win one more time. But Harvick, I think, of course, is going to do better than all of them in regard to points.
Right. And for JGR, I think Hamlin's going to win 2, 3, 4 times. Truex is going to win twice. Bell, I don't think will. Actually, I think Bell's going to win maybe New Hampshire, if anything. And SHR, I don't think any of them are going to get a win. Actually, Briscoe might win at the Indy Road Course. And then finally, Team Penske, Joey Logano, I think he's going to get 3 wins. Ryan Blaney, he's going to get, I think he'll win 1 or 2. And Austin Cindric will not win any.
Wow. So for Penske, did we do RFK already?
No, we did not do RFK.
How many do we have left of them? Or how many more teams do we have left?
I think it's just RFK for the major teams.
Okay, so for Penske, let's see here. I think Logano, I kind of already said about Logano. I think he's probably going to win a couple times. Cindric, not really sure about Cindric. I'm sure. I think he's going to have a struggle at first. I think it's going to be kind of like a hard rookie season for him. And then RFK, Brad Keselowski. I think Keselowski's going to struggle. Like I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and either this one or the other podcast I'm in with the Races By. But I think Keselowski and them are going to. RFK's going to have a hard time getting out the gate. They could get better as the season goes along, but I think Brad maybe wins once. But other than that, it'd be very hard. Yeah, so I don't really know what else to say. My brain's kind of dead.
Well, judging by what Keselowski did today, I think Keselowski will have a bit of a down year, but he'll still manage to win a couple of races. I think 2. And Chris Buescher will not win any. I think he'll have a similar season to the seasons that he's had previously.
I think Buescher will probably have a chance of winning once, but he won't get it done.
All right. So now let's talk about our Daytona 500 picks. We will not upload an episode next week, but we will upload one the week after the Daytona 500, of course, to recap the Daytona 500 and all the other things. But my prediction for the Daytona 500, this will contradict my Logano outfit, but I think Denny Hamlin is going to win it. He's obviously very strong at Daytona. Look for him to be in the front, but other guys that have a shot at it, Joey Logano, of course, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, and Michael McDowell.
So, let me see here. So I'm also thinking of the Truck Series predictions too, and the
that's right, yeah.
But for the Daytona 500, I kind of mentioned this a little bit before. I don't think I mentioned it here, but I picked Alex Bowman to win the Daytona 500.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for the trucks, the truck Daytona race, man, it's kind of hard to pick. I think there'll probably end up being a big wreck at one point. But I'm going to go with John Hurt and Nemechek winning the truck race at Daytona. And it'll come down to a photo finish, I think.
Okay, I am getting ready to pick my driver. I am going to go with Chandler Smith for the trucks. And what about Xfinity?
Okay, so trucks, every time I pick Chandler Smith, he doesn't win. So I didn't pick, that's the reason why I didn't pick him. But for Xfinity, man, this is gonna be tough. Looking at the field, Ty Gibbs is a favorite. Sheldon Creed could maybe get the job done. There's Gregson and Hamrick and Herbst, and yeah, it's just gonna be very, very competitive field. But I'm gonna go with a kind of a risky prediction here. I'm gonna go with Josh Berry to win the Xfinity race at Daytona.
Josh Berry is not a bad pick. I don't know. For me, I don't really know who I should pick because I'm trying to find some results from last year and I can't find it. So I'm just going to take a gamble and I will guess AJ Allmendinger, but that is subject to change. You will see on the Instagram what driver I actually picked. But for now, for this video, I'm going to go with AJ Allmendinger.
All right. Sounds good. I mean, I'm looking forward to Daytona. There's a lot of people trying to get in to the entry list and all that. And, it's just going to be a lot of excitement and just a lot of unpredictability.
Yes, I'm really excited for this season. New car for the Cup, and just Xfinity and trucks. They're a great series as well. But yeah, that's going to close out this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace. Don't drink moonshine.
You only calling night. You wanted what I think. All these women lie. Push me to the brink. You only calling night. After Kelly's or the drink. You only